In August 2023, the global literary fraternity lost an icon. We lost the son of the soil, Michael Anthony. Joining us this morning, we are going to be talking about an event that will be celebrating his life, the Bring Your Own Book and Bottle. In studio, we have with us Marielle Forbes. Good morning, Marielle. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm good.
It's wonderful to have you. And also, we have fiction writer June Aming. Good morning, June.
Good morning.
Thank you so much, both of you, for being with us here this morning on the show. You see, we were talking about sleep. This is what happens. I know, obviously, there's a lot of work that's going into this event. But before we get into this event, if we could just touch very briefly on how the fraternity in Trinidad and Tobago particularly was affected on the 23rd of August 2023. We'll start with you, Marielle.
I mean, I think that, Michael Anthony is such a beloved writer. He's a dear friend of both of us. And of course, we were deeply saddened by his passing. And we take every opportunity to be able to celebrate someone as great as he is, a literary giant. He was also a historian. He published over 30 novels, 30 books. So it was, we just take the opportunity to celebrate him, any way we can. So this is one of the ways in which we'll celebrate him with the BYOBB on the 30th.
And we're looking forward to learning more about this conversation, bring a book and a bottle, always winning. But before we get into that, June, good morning again, welcome.
Good morning, thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you with us this morning on the show. Let's talk about your friendship with Michael Anthony, how he inspired you.
Well, my friendship with Michael Anthony started early in the 2000s. I met him through the Writers' Union of Trinidad and Tobago. He would come in often to give us talks and teach us and, critique our work. And then in 2014, we had the Michael Anthony Literary Festival in Mayaro. The following year, we went with him to the Miami Book Fair, and we also had an event at the consulate in Miami, and he was very well received. Now, in all that time, I got to know him. Like, we're at the hotel. We're sitting down, we're having breakfast. I mean, he was a very proper person. He'd want everything just so. But in between that, he was so kind and generous with his work and his knowledge. He always shared everything with us. We'd sit down with bacon and eggs, myself and my writing comrade, Colleen Selvon, and he would just impact us with all this information about writing. He was never, ever selfish with his knowledge of writing. He was such a great writer, such a great, as you said, historian. He was wonderful, wonderful person, really sorely missed by the Union.
That's absolutely beautiful to hear. And, with many of his works, we were able to feel that from, secondary school to those who are just avid readers. You were able to embrace that and get that. Now, you mentioned sharing, which is so important, because let's talk about this event, Marielle. BYOBB, bring your own, I don't know which one comes first. I'll say book and bottle.
Book comes first, yes, but there are two B's, so you can mix it up if you want. But the BYOBB really started at the beginning of 2020. January 2020, and it was meant to encourage community within the space of the Writers' Center, to encourage both readers and writers to come together to talk about books, to talk about books they've read, to talk about books they've written, to give both readers and writers the opportunity to interact with each other, ask questions of each other, find out more about each other. So it was really meant to be this very relaxed event that would bring readers and writers together. So the pandemic happened, and then we were able to have 2 in-person BYOBBs, and then we had to move to a totally virtual event. And this coming Saturday would be the first in-person BYOBB since 2020.
Oh my goodness, you must be so excited.
Very.
Now, you mentioned the relaxed atmosphere, budding writers coming together. Really, of course, you have that essential networking going on, getting that inspiration. What about the option to purchase books?
Oh, paper-based will be open. Now we have, kind of relaunched the space.
Yes.
And we are now home of the paper-based bookshop. The book is Litfest, as well as a cafe that's run by Full Bloom.
Lovely.
Full Bloom Coffee. So the bookshop will be open for the duration of the event, which runs from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So don't worry, you have the option, or you have the opportunity to grab all of your copies of, Michael Anthony's books or any other book that, you might want to get your hands on.
Absolutely fantastic. Tell us, June, how do you feel about entities like Bocas Lit Fest and paper-based bookshop coming together and the option, let's not say the option, but the role they play in leveraging our local literary talent?
Well, I think both entities have been very important. I'm very excited that they're both together in one space. Paper-based, I remember Joan Dale talking about her dream of having, Caribbean authors to the forefront. And when you go into the bookstore, that's what you see. You see all these Caribbean books. You open it, you see a Caribbean language, and that's so important to writers. She is there, prodding us along and helping us and giving us encouragement. Bocas, I can't say enough about them. They have been there. They have done so much, from their workshops to all the different events they have, both here and internationally. And they're very inspiring. Yeah. I mean, they're actually modern writers. As I said, they workshop. You get a chance to perform, to give your work. Now there's a bookshop where they're going to be selling your books. Great. And also, too, they allow, in the Bocas Literary Fest, they have writers interviewing writers, and that's important. So they're grooming you almost for your writing career.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, aside from, of course, being a part of events such as this, getting involved with Bocas Lit Fest, do you have any advice for those who are interested in writing?
Well, I would just say read a lot, write a lot. I mean, keep writing. It's very important for you to find your voice. Anything you put on the paper and first doesn't usually sound very good, but you have to keep polishing and polishing and polishing, and you'll get there. But you have to find that voice and keep putting out your work, because that's the only way you can have a writing career or have anything published, is that you have to continue.
You have to continue, and that's something we've seen Bocas Lit Fest doing, of course, continuing to polish and push these budding writers and all writers that we have to ensure that their work is out there. Now, aside from BYOBB, what other events does Bocas Lit Fest have coming up?
Well, outside of this, on the 14th of October, we have the Family Reading Circle, where we collaborate with the Let's Read. So that encourages parents and the younger ones. So it's an event where parents are reading to their children. It's very collaborative and, hands-on. And following that, we have our Writer to Writer series, which kicks off on the 28th of October. In between that, we have the NGC Bocas Youth Fest, of course, on the 20th and 21st. But like June said, we have the conversation series Writer to Writer, where we have both writers in conversation with each other, talking about their process, their work, how they figure it out, how they polish, their writing and all of that. So you have all of those events to look forward to, and they're all free and open to the public.
Wonderful. Marielle, thank you so much for being with us this morning. June, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Looking forward to this event on Saturday. Looking forward to everything else that's going to be coming up as well, and thank you for your creativity.
Welcome. Looking forward to seeing you.
Yes. Trinidad and Tobago, to keep up to date on future events at the Writers Centre, you can visit www.bocaslitfest.com, or you can follow the NGC Bocas Lit Fest on social media at bocaslitfest.com. There's more coming up on the Now Morning Show, so don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few moments.